So the new record out in just a few weeks.
Yeah,
Just under a month.
It's coming out January 11th. So we're excited about it, and we're excited that other people are seeming to like it. And we really took our time making it.
Yeah, how long? So did you start this before the B-Sides Rarity stuff, or like when?
I did. I mean, I've been writing these songs for a while, and I think we just wanted to make sure with B-Sides and Rarities that we could have our own label and that it would work. We didn't want to waste a bunch of songs, like and years of work on an untenable situation.
Right.
Which sometimes being on the major label is. If their schedule changes, it's you're out of luck, and it's years of your life that have been flushed down the toilet. So, I mean, a lot of the reason why we decided to go back to being our own label, which is our first album, we had our own label. It just feels like a cleaner way of doing business for us.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of cleaner ways of doing business, this whole record is, look at this segue, solar powered?
Yes, it is. It's 100% rehearsed and recorded and mixed with using solar energy from Sacramento, California.
So how does that work? So you guys built a studio, put panels everywhere, and it power, because that's a lot of gear that you need to power.
Yeah, we bought an old house and just sort of turned it into a studio, and took down doors and just kind of opened the thing up and closed off areas. And then I guess after touring in Germany and learning that the mostly cloudy country of Germany is the number one producer of solar electricity in the world.
Wow.
It occurred to us how wrong it was, what a crime it was, really, for us not to just make electricity from our rooftop in sunny California. So, and I guess, we just get to feel smug now or something, but but I don't know. I mean, I think it's a short life, and sometimes you have to stretch a little bit to do the things that you believe in, and we could have traveled around and gone on vacation or something with that money, but it just I think honestly it's going to be a long-term economic benefit, especially as the value of recorded music descends into the garbage. We still get a check from the utility for like $30 a month, so it's going to really take us through the lean times.
Yeah, those $30 a month. Yeah, there you go. Are you going to rent out the studio, or is it just like for yours?
I think it's going to be just for us. But we, if we ever do decide to expand the scope of our own label, we will consider, bringing other bands in there.
Yeah, I guess that goes with the label thing, and you're probably focused on the record and touring, and not thinking about that kind of stuff yet.
Yeah, but you never know what could happen, so it's hard to say.
Gotcha. You mentioned crime, and it got me thinking. Well, the first track of the new record, federal funding.
Yeah.
The opening line: "Did you receive the federal funding? You can add another wing. Take your colleagues out to dinner."
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, it seems to me that that government is a two-edged sword, and I think there's been a lot of oversimplification about government is bad. Don't let government do anything. Especially here in the United States, people have really got this idea that government is really bad always, and it certainly can be. On the other hand, without government, you don't have anything to protect the weak from the strong, and without regulations and rules, you really have a free-for-all, don't you? And one of the cool things that government did here is kept us out of a great recession or depression for 70 years. I mean, the laws that were passed after the Great Depression kept us out of trouble until they were subverted in the 90s and 2000s. So I don't know. I'm just getting tired of people always talking about how horrible government is.
But you're criticizing them in that opening line.
Absolutely. There's room for criticism as well as praise.
Do you? Well, I guess it's a very Republican thing to say. No government, right? Like that's
but that's
originally.
such an oversimplified way of looking at it, And if even saying I want tiny government, I want small government, is also really, I think, dream on, because you have incredibly complex systems. For instance, the oil spill. Our government couldn't do anything about it because it had been sort of downsized, and the scale of their purview had been over a long period of time just reduced and reduced and reduced. There was really nobody watching the store, and so that's what you have, all these complex things like Wall Street and and all these, like, it's a very complicated society, and without like the government having any people working there, you're on your own. Good luck, not being ripped off.
To continue on the politics trend for a second, what just happened? What was it, about a month ago? Do you think anything's going to pass? What's the feeling like down there? Because it's just going to be a standstill for the next 2 years.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I just think the only thing we can do down here is just shame them into doing something. I really think it's the absolute worst time for there to be a standstill.
Yeah, well, he's not getting a fair chance either, right? Everyone voted him in, and there was hope for Obama and everything, and he was, not going to lie, kind of a pussy the past 2 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he's under the impression that bipartisanship means that he can't be partisan. But what bipartisanship really means is when partisans haggle and then make a deal. Like one person can't be bipartisan, but a bill can be bipartisan. So I think it's just sort of a misunderstanding on his part. I think it's okay for people to disagree vehemently and come to some sort of bipartisan solution, but you shouldn't start out bipartisan going into the negotiations. So.
I just hope re-election goes through, and then he just starts doing whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, no, because he's really ultimately a smart guy who I think who has his sort of heart in the right place, basically. But it is very frustrating to see him interface with this system.
Let's get onto a happier topic. You got a record. Let's talk about the record.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're playing more. It sounds like you're playing more piano than usual.
Yeah. Well, we had a moratorium on piano from the very beginning. We just, I don't know what it was. We just didn't want to sound classy, and
Okay.
And I guess we had a moratorium on saxophone. We still do have a moratorium on that instrument.
But other horns are okay.
Trumpet's okay,
Trumpet's
but
okay.
saxophone's just too urban and classy. I don't know what it is.
All right. What about like a tuba?
Tuba'd be okay.
Tuba'd be okay.
Yeah,
All right.
tuba
Flute?
be okay. Flute, I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's just the piano was just. I found this old junky piano, and I thought, you know what, this is junky enough for us, and I think it sounds okay. And we also for the first time are using reverb. We never use reverb
Really?
on our
I'm
voices.
going to have to listen back to some of those old tunes. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're dry as can be on my voice. And I just felt like that was, again, I think we were, when we first started out, I think we were a sort of reaction against a lot of really big-sounding music, like grunge and American rock. It's sort of kind of grandiose. And so we thought, you know what, we want to sound small. And that was our sort of hostile, reactionary gesture against music that we thought was like way too big and sort of self-important.
That's interesting you say that, because it's you have the cake riff almost, right? You know what I mean by that guitar sound that you have with the like every second note kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd like to write like riffs and melodic guitar parts and repeat them, and we like music that does that. So I mean, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not saying they all sound the same, but it's the same style.
Yeah, there's it's a lack of hugeness.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we could crank that guitar, super loud and distort it all to hell, but then it would, for me, it's like I'm trying to avoid sounding like tall truck, big dumb rock. I don't want to. I don't think that music's that interesting. I mean, some of it's great. I really like. Some people do it well, like especially a long time ago, people did it well. But I just want to sound smaller. So, and I think that's actually in a country as like obese and self-indulgent as the United States, in a way, small is the most subversive thing you could do here.
Talking to Small, there's no words on one of your songs. A song called "Teenage Pregnancy" on this new record.
Yeah,
it's a lovely little piece, and I get the mood from it. Why title it that though?
I just wanted to let people go where they wanted to go with it, I guess. It just seemed to make sense to me somehow.
Okay.
Is that a good enough answer? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if that's the answer, that's the answer. It doesn't matter.
It sort of is, yeah. It's just, I think sometimes it's good not to have words and just let music do the talking.
A song that does have words is the single that we're spinning the hell out of, Sick of You.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that tune?
Well, that song is saying too much, probably. Yeah, that song is a breakup song, but I think it's also sort of applicable to the general cultural mood, especially in the United States nowadays. You'd have to be down here to maybe to fully understand, but things are very contentious, and people are almost, I think, gratuitously into hating each other lately.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, a little scary, actually.
Yeah.
Sort of, people are almost taking pleasure in it, I think. So it's exciting sometimes. But yeah, so we get people singing the song along to the song at shows, and it's interesting. People seem to enjoy singing those words.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just because it's fun to sing along or if it's fun to say those words.
It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah. Mustache Man. I'm thinking that if we're going to spin another tune off this record, it's probably going to be that one. So you want to tell us about that one too?
Oh, good. Well, you should talk to our radio people about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're thinking about Long Time, but
that's an old cake sounding tune. I like that one too.
The band likes. I think the band is more on the side of Mustache. That song is just a sort of a very sort of California sleaze song. It's sort of a creepy song that I think I'm just taking a bunch of images of memories from childhood growing up in California.
Did you guys do Movember at all?
We did not, but we thought it was a good idea, and we certainly hope it's helped people.
Well, I'm thinking you should give them that tune. That'd be a great theme song for them.
We should at least talk to them, shouldn't we?
You should. There you go. There's my words of advice for the day.
Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Yeah,
call Movember.
Yeah, call Movember.
Okay.
I want to get a couple of clips, too, for some of the old tunes that we play, just so like a little storyteller's thing before I play the song.
Okay.
Over the next couple of weeks. Want to give me a little clip about Short Skirt?
Okay, well, Short Skirt, Long Jacket was, I think, a response to hearing people talk about how the length of women's skirts changes with the stock market and with the economy. And I just thought, wow, God, the whole world is so mercantile. It's so it's scary, and so that song was sort of coming out of that feeling that everything is transactional and you can't hide from it. It's just everywhere. So, so that's what I was thinking with that.
Cool. The Distance.
The Distance is a song that when I sing it every night, most nights I actually still enjoy singing it.
5 quick questions, one-word answers before you go.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Studio.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Most important thing in a song, lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Oh, God. I can't choose. Melody, I guess.
Cool. Song you've written you're most proud of?
Right now I like the song Bound Away.
Cool. That's that like folky one on the new record.
Yeah, kind of country sounding.
Yeah. And one word, cake.
Holy shit.